I'm here today with Dr. Patty Blakeslee of Unionville Equine, and Dr. Blakeslee has been practicing veterinary medicine for, you said, 27 years, and she's here today to give Bandit a chiropractic adjustment and to answer some questions that we have about body work. So is there anything else that you want to say about yourself?
Not really. I've been adjusting horses for 18 years, and I've been doing acupuncture for 14 years. So
Okay.
basically, chiropractic is mobilizing vertebral segments, but also other joints. So it's mobilizing joints.
Okay.
And the problem, which I do, is the word subluxation, which is why the medical community doesn't agree with the chiropractic community. They both use the word subluxation. A subluxation in the medical community means your joint is out of place. I mean, it is visually out of place on a radiograph. It's also extremely painful. Come back to me. And a chiropractic subluxation is a completely different definition. The bones are not obviously out of place. They're a little bit out of place, but there's an abnormality in the physiologic movement of the joint, or the physiologic nature of the joint. So the joint isn't functioning properly. So it's a functional, you are very smart. It's a functional definition. And whereas in the veterinary or the medical thing, a subluxation is torn joint capsules, strained muscles. It is a bone out of place. Yeah. So completely different echelons. And so unfortunately, chiropractors use that word, and so the medical community completely dismisses them then because they don't understand what a subluxation is. You can't fix a medical subluxation unless you put it in a cast or a splint and give it time. Okay. So chiropractically, it's just a joint segment that's not functioning properly. And so what happens when they don't move is those joint capsules get stiff, the ligaments holding the joints and the muscles shorten. You might get a little bit of scar tissue in there. And then your nervous input through that joint isn't as effective. So when you correct the physiologic movement through a joint, the nervous system reawakens and works better. Okay. So all the information going from their feet up to their brain and back down to their feet is smoother when you straighten out all the problems and the interference in between. Yeah. So that's basically the premise of chiropractic as I was taught. Okay. Hind feet. Boy. So what I'm testing there is fine motor coordination. Because he can probably do that just fine. Demonstrate that. So he can do this just fine when I haven't picked his leg up. When I pick his leg up and ask him to engage more neurons, he has trouble. Now, that was the first time. He doesn't know what I'm asking him to do. So I expect that to correct in 3 tries. Another thing you watch is how they stand. So when they stand on cross ties, do they stand over their forelegs, or do they have a leg in each corner? Their cannon bones should be straight up and down. And so it can be telling to just note what their basic stance is. And does it have to do with their toes being too long, or, oh, you're a good boy. But this horse basically stands, like right now, he's standing nice and square and balanced and comfortable. The other thing, next part, I go from the front end straight to the back end, and I usually play with their tail, because horses who have a tight tail have a tight hind end. And the vertebrae in a tail are basically like spools from thread, and they just sit on top of each other, and the joint surface moves straight across the surface like that, just like if you put spools on. So I basically just hold their tail and go down each joint and just wiggle it like that. And his tail is beautiful. You can tell he does. The other thing I do is I head inside of their seat bone here, right inside here, and there's a ligament that runs inside, and the ligament attaches from their seat bone here, basically up into their sacrum, which is here. It's nice and dusty, we can draw on them. And so the ligament runs from inside here and it fans out and attaches to the sacrum. And again, the sciatic nerve runs right through those ligaments. So it's called the sacrosciatic ligament. And a lot of times, if it's really tight, that matches a horse who has some tightness issues behind. Or you can tell they've been struggling behind when that ligament gets tight. Or if they've had a broken pelvis, that ligament can be really gnarly. And so this is called Logan Basic, and it's another chiropractic technique. You are such a good boy. That's a way to pop up their lumbars. His last lumbar is a little bit lower. It's really not bad. It's very mild. Oh, look at that. And so I'm sitting up here so I can see this isn't bad on the right. It's just not quite as stretchy to the left. But basically, it's us doing yoga. Getting his back. He does that. Look at that. Back and forth. That is beautiful. All right, good boy. Chiropractic is more all about the nerves.
Yeah.
So, and making sure the nerves have free flow through the body. And